Butterfly, Chapter 1, Davis. Davis lay on his bed staring at the fan dancing with its shadow on the ceiling of his room. He smiled as he imagined the whirling blades morphing into specialized androids that would lower onto his 14-year-old frame and shear the strange uninvited hairs that were infiltrating his body. They reminded him, in a most embarrassing way, that he was becoming a young man. The concept of age frightened him. From this, he discovered the answer to eternal youth. He would not allow Mother Nature to change him. He would fight her with stolen razor blades from his father's toiletry bag. If he was lucky, every now and then he would find Mom's special cream that kept her legs smooth and shiny. Davis closed his eyes and felt the air brushing his skin. He experienced a rush of peace as the cool breeze tickled his shoulders. "Just breathe," he whispered. He imagined his breath forming a circle as he inhaled deeply through his nose and exhaled slowly from his mouth. He drew his imaginary rings over and over again, exactly like Dr. Tom, the psychologist he used to go to, said to do when he was worried. He found peace. It was not long until aging intruded upon his tranquility again. Davis slid his fingers across his chest and just below the waistband of his blue checkered boxers. He felt the short daggers barely poking his fingertips. Stubborn tears began welling up in his eyes. The boy slowly sat up. He will not cry. He will not give up the fight. He will not grow up. Growing up means getting a job and having to get married. It means seeing your parents die and having no one to take care of you. It means having to show somebody your privates and having sex. That is not acceptable. It's not going to happen to him. It will not. Ugh! Davis screamed as he rolled out of bed and brought himself to his feet. Despite all of his effort, the retaining walls of obstinacy were breached and tears of defeat were unabashedly streaming from his bright blue eyes. "Ugh!" he screamed again. He defied the liquid weakness his unruly face produced until it was wiped away for good by the back of his hand. His mother, Ellen, called loudly from the living room. "Everything all right in there?" Davis did not answer. He muttered under his breath. "Oh, too loud again. She knows you're up now, stupid. Why are you so stupid?" He stood silently for a moment, waiting for her to burst through the door like she always did. He postured as still as a statue and slowly counted to 60. Nothing. He counted to 70, even slower. No mom. He waited before setting up his youth ritual. He did not want to risk his mother walking in on him and discovering him naked. That would be the worst. Also, he definitely begrudged the idea of being dragged to see another psychologist. Psychologists are stupid. He decided long ago that if he sat silently, looked them dead in the eye, and refused to talk, they'd give up. He'd managed at least 5 of them that way. He laughed at how smart he was, even at the age of 7 when the school made his mom take him to Dr. Alice because of fighting. He knew even then that fighting is what people do. People only get mad about it when the same person wins every time. Davis always won. Dr. Alice surrendered after only 2 appointments. It wasn't long after that Davis began homeschool. Davis Day is not a loser, mother fricker. He laughed out loud at his cleverness by cursing without cursing. After becoming completely confident that his mother was remaining at bay, like a ninja, he stealthily retrieved a pillowcase tucked all the way under his nightstand against the wall. He noiselessly emptied the sacred contents onto his unmade bed. First, he laid out the blue and white striped dish towel that he told his mother he accidentally threw away. He smoothed out every wrinkle. This is an important step. Satisfied with his work, Davis raised the hand mirror he falsely confessed to breaking and throwing away to eye level and peered into it. Looking back at him with sapphire blue eyes and wavy ebony hair was the perfect specimen of a boy. This boy's going to be a social media influencer and soccer star, he fantasized. This boy is going to be the most famous boy that ever lived, he qualified. Remaining a boy forever, however, was the critical condition for success. No men allowed. Men are boring. Men are slaves. Boys are always free. He placed the mirror in the center of the towel with his father's disposable razor next to it before proceeding to slide the blue boxers that his grandmother had given him for Christmas to the floor and evaluate his position. After thinking about it for a second, though, he scooted the shorts under the dust ruffle of his bed with his foot so they wouldn't see what he was doing. Once he made certain everything was just right, Project Delta Alpha Gamma commenced. He pressed the dulling blade to his chest and glided it over his skin. The razor caught and pulled aggressively like a harpooned whale as nature fought back. It hurt. It burned. As long as he stayed focused, though, he would successfully complete the mission, as he had repeatedly done without a defeat. Swipe by swipe, the small black soldiers of shame were conquered until they had all fallen and their bodies disappeared into the plush blue carpeting under his feet, waiting to be transported to the abyss on Thursday with the aid of the reliable vacuum cleaner, never to be seen again. His chest reflected a white spectrum of light, uninterrupted by the threatening stains of adolescence. A smirk of accomplishment brightened his face as he began planning for Phase 2. He cringed, braced, and gritted his teeth, focusing his attention on the real problem. Standing bravely on the edge of his bed, he flipped the mirror to the magnifying side and directed it squarely at his lower belly. Nature's soldiers were everywhere. There must be millions of them. He maneuvered artillery to the battlefield and slowly initiated conflict. He bit his lip as he refused to let discomfort undermine his ultimate goal and ambition. He pressed the metal to his flesh firmly and aggressively drew it athwart. "Davis!" his mother called from the living room. "Get out here now!" His concentration was broken and he jolted in response to possible enemy infiltration. The hazardous cutting edge skipped, producing a dotting of cuts. "We have casualties," the mirror laughed as it reflected a spattering of Morse code on the boy's lower abdomen. Hastily, Davis returned the filched hoard to its camouflage and returned it to its hiding place. "Ugh!" He screamed loud enough to break the sound barrier while scrambling to replace the loose shorts that aptly concealed his secret. "Did you finish your homework, honey?" she sang through his rage. "I'm serious. I'm not doing it for you again. Do you want to go back to public school? We'll send you back. If you don't do the work, you will fail. Then what?" Her voice was becoming bossy, and Davis despised that. He noticed the stereo he had gotten for his birthday and grinned from ear to ear. With a flip of the remote, music filled the house and erased all the questions and anger his mother could produce. It was loud, but he didn't care. Finishing school was growing up, too. Davis returned to his bed and screamed.